This video is brought to you by Against the Flow of Mississippi. Against the Flow of Mississippi is a book about Jake Fayard, a Marine veteran who is unhappy with the political machine running the state of Mississippi. He decides to fight the corruption from the inside. Jake will face more challenges than he ever has and will stand up for what he thinks is right. His notoriously hot temper will push him to the edge of murder, along with his friend and brother Kobe Barhanovich. Together, they will fight the system and give the power back to the citizens of Mississippi. Against the Flow of Mississippi is now available on Amazon. A link to the book will be placed in the description below.
Count time on the compound. All inmates return to bunks. Beyond the count, life on the compound. Brought to you by former Sergeant Allen of the Florida Department of Corrections. On this YouTube channel, I will explain to you the ins and outs and the do's and don'ts of a prison. Hope y'all enjoy. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And if you are a brother or sister correctional officer, y'all remember, be safe, and we never walk alone.
Alright, y'all. Yeah, I know I'm making a lot of videos today about FDC. Told y'all gonna learn about yourselves. Right now I'm not talking to you, the higher ups. I'm talking to you, the officers, boots on the ground, ones that do your jobs every day. And this video is geared more toward the newer officers. We're going to talk about dirty staff. As I've mentioned, I hate dirty cops. I hate dirty COs. I hate corruption. I've really dedicated a pretty good portion of my life to fighting corruption. Not just with the Department of Corrections, but I've been fighting corruption for about 20 years now, in general. I'm going to tell y'all something. When you get a dirty officer, well, let's talk about what makes an officer dirty. A common definition of a dirty officer is somebody who doesn't follow the law, doesn't follow the rules, doesn't follow policy. That makes a dirty officer. Somebody who will slap an inmate, that's a dirty officer. I'm not talking about in self-defense slap one. I'm talking about, oh, you talking shit? That's a dirty officer. What are some other examples of dirty officers? How about captains that may order you, or majors, colonels, other white shirts that will order you? This is what you saw. You're going to write this on an incident report. You know what? Forget it. I'll write the incident report for you. You just sign it. And I'm ordering you to sign it. Okay, this has happened. Hell, there was a major at Lottie. You can look this up. This is public record. You can go through DC Web on your work computer, or you can look it up on the FDC website from your home computer, cell phone, or whatever. You can find this article. Major at Lottie. OIG come in there. Arrested him for ordering staff to falsify a state document because he didn't want to go on lockdown for contraband. Would you consider that a dirty officer? I would, absolutely. If your sergeant slaps an inmate in front of you and then looks at you and go, Officer Smith, you didn't see shit, you're not going to write anything up. No need to write that up. Is he dirty? Absolutely. Are you dirty if you listen to him? You better believe it. We'll talk about the Nuremberg defense. The Nuremberg trials happened with Nazi Germany soldiers after World War II, where officers and soldiers of the SS and the Gestapo used the argument, well, I was just following orders. I was just doing my job. Didn't work. That was back then. I was just following orders does not work. Let me go ahead and tell you new officers right now. If your sergeant, your lieutenant, your captain, your major, your colonel, your warden, your assistant regional director, your regional director, Mark Inch, the governor of the state of Florida, or God himself gives you an unlawful order, it is your duty not to obey it, and it is your duty to write it up. An unlawful order. Now there's two elements here. There's orders that violate policy, and there's unlawful orders. Policy is not always the law. Sometimes they coincide with each other. Is it unlawful for you to slap an inmate? Absolutely. It is very unlawful. That's called battery. You can get a criminal charge for that. Is it unlawful for you to falsify a state document? Absolutely. That's a felony. That's a third-degree felony in the state of Florida. You better believe it. Is it unlawful for you to tell an inmate, and I'm going to use an example that my captain used once in explaining this to a new officer, and I have to be there listening. Is it unlawful for you to order an inmate to tuck his breeches leg inside of his socks and walk? No. Is it against policy? Yes. Can you get written up for it? Yeah. But it's not unlawful. So if a sergeant tells you to order an inmate to do that, can you write that sergeant up? Yeah. Do an incident report on it if you don't think it's right. But you still follow that order. Now don't walk up to the inmate and go, man, this is a bullshit order. I don't know what the hell Sergeant Jones was telling me to tell you to do this, but you know what? Sergeant Jones told me to walk up and tell you to tuck your breeches. No, you don't do that. You walk up and you say, hey, mate, take your pants in your breeches, and tuck your breeches legs in your socks. Again, it's a stupid thing to do, and I don't recommend doing it. But you still follow the last order given from somebody who's a little bit higher ranked than you. See, I'm of the opinion, regardless, as to sorry, phone's ringing. I'm of the opinion that it doesn't matter what the order is, as long as it's not unlawful, you follow it. If inmates being unruly during count, I'm your sergeant. I say, all the other inmates come out of their cell. That one's on bunk check for a minute until I figure out what I'm going to do with them. I may do that just so I don't have to write the inmate up, do paperwork, but I want them to know, hey, I'm not going to tolerate it. There's reasons why I do things. Again, I don't work for the department anymore. But there's methods to my madness. Does me telling that inmate to stay on his bunk violate policy? Yeah. I can't put him on bunk check without higher approval. Have I done it? Yeah. And it's pretty effective. You know, again, I'm telling you, I'm giving the order to violate policy, which takes it off of you and puts it on me. However, if I tell you to go over there and go take all that inmate's canteen and go distribute it amongst the other inmates, now that's unlawful. That's stealing. That's theft. Can't do that. So use discretion. Those are some examples I want to talk about here. Now, dirty officers will get you to falsify a state document. I've never asked anybody to lie on my behalf. And I'm not going to lie. To either protect myself, cover my ass, or cover your ass. I'm not going to lie. I'm just not going to do it. There's 3 things nobody can tell you. Nobody can tell you what you saw, what you heard, or what you remember. If you see somebody do something unlawful, you have a duty to report. It's that simple. It's as simple as that. You have a duty to report. In fact, if you do not report it, now you are failure to report, and that's your proverbial ass. It's as simple as that. You have a duty to report. If you see me knock the shit out of an inmate for no reason, you have a duty to report it. What? We could be best friends. Don't put yourself at risk for me. Not that I would ever do anything that's stupid, but don't put yourself at risk. Now, I want to talk about dirty officers and bringing in contraband. This is a big one. I dealt with this very thing that I'm going to mention at Everglades CI. This is the kind of pat search that was happening in the search room. You're good, Sarge. Now, I call that a bazooka pat search. I could have had a goddamn bazooka on me and you wouldn't have known it. That's not a pat search. That is not a fucking pat search. You're not going to know shit. If you don't know how to do a proper pat search, I'll do a video on how to do a pat search. In fact, I'm going to. Next time I'm home, again, I'm on the road right now. I'm in Vermont. I'll be here until in the morning. Next time I go home, I'm going to do a whole video on how to do a proper pat search. A proper pat search. I will show you how to do one. And this is what I expect each and every one of y'all, if you work the search room especially. How does contraband get put on the compound? Sometimes they use drones. I mean, they caught that at Columbia CI in Lake City. Yeah, sometimes they'll try to throw stuff over the fence. But I mean, that's hard. I mean, they may or may not make it. You never know, though. Hey, they may have an arm like Drew Brees. They may hit their mark. But a lot of people bring it right on in through the metal detector. They know they got officers that'll... Okay, you're good. Every time you enter or exit the facility, or every time you enter the facility, be it, I'm coming on shift, 2 o'clock in. Hey, Cap, can I go to my car and get my jacket? You need to be pat searched back in. I don't give a shit how long it takes. Me personally, I was there usually 45 minutes to an hour early anyway. I'm at least in the parking lot. You know, I made sure to just about religiously, almost every day, I'm touching that chronos at 5:53. I'm clocking in. 5:53. Captain would post me, I'd go clock in. All right, now I'm going to wherever I've got to go. Wherever it is. Even as an officer. Punch in at 5:53. Where am I going, Cap? Confinement, Rover, wherever. 8-arm, B-arm, C-arm, wherever. I'm going. Doesn't matter. You're 9 today. You're 9 Alpha today. Whatever. I'm going. But I'm there at 5:53. Why? Because somebody has already been there for 12 hours and they kind of would like to be relieved. I'm sure they'd like to go home and see their family. I like getting relieved on time, therefore I'll relieve people on time. So therefore I get there early to where I can make sure that I get through the search room. If you show up at 6 o'clock and you got a line because people are doing proper pat search, that's your fault. One's doing the proper pat search, good job. Because if anything comes on the compound, that's where you're going to catch it at. At Everglades CI, I don't understand this. I don't like this. But they had the metal detector that you walk through set so high that, and I've got a pair of state pants right here, I'll show you. That would go off in the metal detector. So basically, if it was done right, it'd be a good thing. You take that chair wand and you wand everybody down who didn't clear the metal detector. Unfortunately, this didn't happen. I had to sit there and tell officers that were searching me, and hey, I didn't clear the metal detector. You better get that wand out. Then it just got to the point where it was an annoyance. My thinking is I should have bumped that up just a little bit to where that would pass, but nothing else would. Make it to where that little bit of metal could pass, and then do a drill bit test. Which I've never seen anybody at Everglades do a drill bit test. I doubt they know what that is. Drill bit test means you take a drill bit, you put it in your hand, and you put it several places on your body and walk through. It's about 4 different places you put it on your body. And walk through the metal detector to test to see if it's going to pick it up. That's a drill bit test, and that's in policy, and I never once saw that happen. I did something at Everglades and got written up for it, and I don't think I should have. I got what's considered an SCM, a Supervisory Council Memorandum, for this. because I did a systems check. Let me explain the systems check that I did. I showed up to work, and I knew I had been getting crappy pat searches, and people were giving me attitude coming through the metal detector. 10-4, I got you. I got you. You're mine, sweetheart. So I took a gallon Ziploc bag, filled it up about a quarter of the way with Cafe Yave Cuban coffee. I like my Cuban coffee. One bad habit, or I don't know if that's a bad habit or a good habit, I picked up when I was down in Miami. I like Cuban coffee. I learned how to make it my own. So, took some Cafe Yave, put it in a gallon Ziploc bag, stuck it in my cargo pocket, walked through the metal detector, got pat searched in, cleared the metal detector. As I'm getting my stuff off the line, I reached down in my pocket, boom, pulled out that Cuban coffee that the officer did not find. And I looked at him, and of course, when you're in the search room, you're on audio and video. I looked at the officer, I said, hey man, that could be drugs. That could be a cell phone. That could be anything. You'd have never known because you didn't search. You did not warn me. I know you put your hand over it when you pat searched me, because I made him pat search me again. I said, I know you felt it when you pat searched me. And you didn't say a thing about it. So you telling me you too lazy? Or you don't know what you're doing? I'm going to need you to write an incident report. Now here's the other thing. If a sergeant tells you to write an incident report, go ahead and write one. Especially if they got my mentality. Because chances are not better than not. If I tell you to write one, I'll give you about a 100% chance that I'm already writing mine. I'm already thinking about what I'm going to write in my head. And I write books anyway, so writing an incident report is nothing to me. I'm fixing to publish my first book in January. So, the point I'm trying to make is, you gonna sit there, you gonna do this, do it right. Let me explain something. Explain K2. I hate K2. K2 is very dangerous. What K2 is, they have different names for it in other places. I've heard it called spice. The official term is a synthetic cannabinoid, but there's nothing cannabinoid or cannabis about it. The only thing that's remotely cannabis about K2 is that you can roll it up and smoke it like you could a fucking joint or a cigarette. K2 or spice has 420 known chemicals. Now what they'll do is the government is always a step behind technology. The government will see what spice is and outlaw it. Well, you can't just outlaw spice. You have to specifically outlaw the chemical makeup. So they'll just change the chemical makeup and now it's legal again, right? What it is it's basically incense. It's poison. There's nothing good that can come from smoking spice. It literally puts holes in your brain. It can kill you. Eventually it will kill you. Eventually these cigarettes will kill me, but Not as quick as K2 will, or Spice. Now, when you buy it at the head shop, which is, you know, you got a little smoke shop, head shop, whatever you want to call it, you go in there and you go buy it. I don't know what it's going for. It's illegal in a lot of states. Again, though, they keep changing the chemical makeup. So, people still get it. But what they will do is, they will get it into the prison. I heard that an ounce of spice was going for like $800 or $900 in prison. Believe it or not, some of these convicts got money, and their people have money. And they'll cash app you or green dot you or whatever. They will get you the money. Your ass gonna get caught. It's not if, it's when. Your ass will get caught, and I hope you do. And I hope you go straight to prison where you belong. I want you in prison. Enjoy the coffee cake Saturday morning. That's all I'm gonna say for you. But they'll take it and they'll add chemicals to it. They may add gasoline or diesel fuel and dry it out. Wasp spray, roach spray, what other kind of chemicals they can to get you a little bit higher is what they're going to add to this stuff. Keep in mind, they're going to pass it around. I know you're going, where do inmates get all these chemicals? Well, I mean, we got inmates that work outside grounds. There's your bug spray. There's your wasp spray. There's your diesel fuel. There's your gasoline. Got inmates working motor pool. How many caustics and chemicals do you think are in the motor pool? Then they'll pass it around to the caustics orderlies that are in charge of the cleaning supplies. You might get a little bit of bleach, ammonia, whatever. Then they'll pass it around again, some of the kitchen orderlies. I mean, it just no into it. And then by the time it gets there, now you've got more chemicals in it already, on the already deadly chemicals that you have. And then when they smoke that shit, they get that, what I like to refer to as retard strength or superhuman strength. Let me tell you how dangerous this stuff is. Century CI, last year, 2019. There was a one-armed, 170-pound inmate. He's about 5'7". His right arm was drawn up like this, like some kind of birth defect. His left arm, pretty good with it. 8 officers went in his cell and he's whacking out on that Tucci. What they call it, Tucci or twack. He's fucked up on it. Eight officers, and we're not talking rookie, we're talking veteran officers that have done a thing or two, seen a thing or two, been working there a while, dealt with this type of shit. How about he sent 2 of them to outside hospital and had them on light duty for about a month or so. 170-pound inmate. And these some big old North Florida, South Alabama boys, they did that too. You think that shit ain't dangerous? If you're bringing that Tucci in, you're putting my life and my health at risk. It means you don't give a shit about me. You don't care if I make it home or not. I care about my officers. But where do you stop it at? You stop it at the search room. Let me tell you something else. I don't give a damn if you're a trainee officer, day 2 on the job. If you happen to get told by your captain to go to the search room and search people coming in, I don't care if the warden, the regional director, the secretary of the department, the governor, or God himself walks in that room, you're the highest. You outrank all of them until they clear the search room. Mr. Warden, I need to check your cell phone to make sure it stayed issued. Give me your iPhone, let me check it. I need to make sure that you don't have any contraband on you. I know you're the warden, but it's my job. It's what you're paying me for. Search them properly. I don't care who it is. Civilian visitor, auditor. Auditor, you better do it. Search properly. That could be the difference between you going home or you going to the hospital or you not making it out. Believe you me, they have a wall at several institutions. The most prominent one I could think of is at RMC in Lake Butler, where they've got every officer that's died in a line of duty going back to the 1920s. You don't want your name on that wall. So do your job and do it right. Search properly, because that's where you're going to stop it. 90% of it. Y'all think about it.